With pretty much all the major detailing done on the chassis and the interior itself, there were just a couple of little details left on the body, starting with some of the clear parts that needed the black edge around it, so I masked it off with the supplied masking from the kit itself, and then started painting it with the Vallejo flat black in a couple of layers. And while I still had the black on the brush anyway, I decided to do the headlight buckets as well. These needed a lot of black detailing inside of them, so I brushed those on carefully, and afterwards I could place the decal on the position that the LEDs are supposed to be on the actual thing. And all of those parts now dried and ready to go, I could start carefully assembling a couple of them with some regular super glue from Bob Smith Industries, their Super Gold Plus formula. Before gluing the headlight lenses themselves in, I also decided to add a small black marking around it to simulate some of the rubbers that are usually on these parts and also help hide the glue seams. For a couple of the indicators and or reflectors on the side for the front and rear bumper, I painted the backing with some silver and then just carefully glued the clear part in to blend out all the way and have a nice reflective silver surface behind it. The multi-piece taillight could also be glued all together, the orange clear reflective piece, then the red piece on top, and then there was also a clear piece that fit in between those, and then it could be glued onto the rear bumper. I decided to leave the rear spoiler in the up position, so I also needed to paint the top of that taillight housing, which now is a chrome, in some black to match the rest of the bumper, as that will still remain in sight with that spoiler in the up position. And while I had some black in the brush, I also decided to paint a couple of the parts of the interior in a black to hide them as well. A black border was added and it then could all be glued together. first door panel and side window fit perfectly, the other one needed a bit of trimming and filing down in order to fit and snap in, so I just sanded it down, then added some black marker to make that part black again, and it all could be slid in and glued together. If you watched the unboxing, you might have noticed that there is also some photo etch included in this kit for a couple of the mesh grills. These were firstly painted in a matte black and then just carefully glued in place. The final pieces that needed to be put on were the side mirrors, so I carefully applied some glue and then pressed the pieces in place to stay there permanently. The last detail I also needed to add was a black wash to the exhaust, as that is a really nicely detailed piece but just doesn't really come out right without some low lighting and some shade added to it, so I added some panel line accent color in the exhausts and also in those panel lines to really make it stand out. And with that, this build is finished. One final thing I want to note, I did not paint the side mirrors and these side vents in a flat black color on purpose, as I didn't really like the look. In this case, the body has a load of black detailing all around it, so I really preferred it in the body color, as the top half is a nice body color and the lower half is a nice even flat black, and I kind of think it suited this build. I hope you enjoyed this video series, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one.